Hey everybody, this is Adam, your teacher for sketching, and I'm going to show you a couple things about practicing your basic drawing strokes. Okay, so one really important thing is how you hold your pencil. Don't hold it really tight. Try to relax your hand. Another really important thing is before you make straight lines. So I'll just do straight lines first and then ellipses. What you want to do is move your pencil in the direction you want it to go first. So I'm going to go across the page. So I'm moving before I touch the paper. And then I'm making a very light line as I hit. Okay, and then I'll go underneath it and I'm going to repeat it as well. So I'm moving, so I'm relaxed, I'm getting used to moving, and then I repeat the stroke. Because one of the important things is you have to get the ability to draw a straight line in your muscle memory. So when you repeat it several times, it just gets a little easier to do it again the next time. So instead of drawing it once, you want to repeat the stroke multiple times. Okay, now once you've done that, you've changed direction. Now I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to start moving first, and then I'll go vertical line, vertical line. And I want to use my arm, not my wrist. So I don't want you going like this and turning your wrist, or even worse, using your fingers to chop the line up. You want to use your arm to draw. Okay, so again, start moving the direction you're going to move and then extend the line and then repeat it immediately and try to stay right, basically still inside that line. And then try an angle. So now I'm going to hit this angle. I'm setting the angle up. I'm moving in that direction, and then I'm putting the line on that angle, and then I'm repeating it to put it into muscle memory. Okay, and then I'll try to do another one parallel to that one. If you draw too slow, like this, you're going to have a wiggly line. If you draw too fast, you're not going to have any control. You got to figure out this kind of middle line, middle speed, where you're still able to control the line, but it's not so slow that you're shaking. Okay, so you got to practice that like 20 minutes a day, or 5 to 10 minutes a day, probably realistically. Okay, so it's the same thing for doing ellipses. Watch. So I'm just going to freehand them instead of using the construction lines. But you guys got to do this like every day for 5 or 10 minutes. Look, I'm starting the ellipse, but I'm not touching the paper. And I'm moving my whole arm, and now I'm dropping the ellipse in. And now I'm going to slowly push a little harder, and I'm going to repeat it many times. Now, when you're doing this for your actual exercises that you're going to show me, you're going to do this in blue pencil first, and then try to do it with a darker pencil. So I'll show you how to sort of clean the line up in a second. So again, you start moving first, then you drop it in, and then you make the smooth stroke. Okay? Move, establish where it's going to go, drop it in very lightly, repeat it, get it symmetrical, and once you feel like you're really on it, and then you can push a little harder. Now what you can do to finish it is like this. Now you kind of switch, and now you can use your slower drawing, and you kind of move around it, but you have to connect the line up really carefully. And you got to follow what you did before. But this should always be done after you've done the looser line. Okay? Again, you never want to draw your ellipses like this, where you chop it and kind of use short little sections of the line. Even though it's easier to make the shape, it's always going to make like the worst line quality. Okay, so those two things, drawing the straight lines like I showed you first, and then drawing freehand ellipses like this. You don't even have to finish them. It's more important that you just do the first part, where you do freehand ellipses and repeat it many times. And again, it's essential that these become part of your muscle memory. Just like an athlete has to repeat motions thousands of times before they can actually use them in a game, you have to be doing the same thing with your art. You want to get these motions absolutely unconscious and absolutely fluid and natural so that you can draw well. Once you do that, then you can start to combine them to make the other shapes. like cones, cubes, and cylinders and spheres, but this is the primary practice. So if you do this 5 minutes a day, like 5 minutes of straight lines, 5 minutes of ellipses, you're going to see real benefits in your drawing. If you don't, you're always going to be hampered.